Okay, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, okay, we are meeting again after a long gap. So today, the Hindu newspaper analysis not only covers today's newspaper, it covers last 4 days news. 4 means almost 5 to 6 days news, which are more relevant to the subject. Okay, and instead of going every single news, I have covered today's class only for which are most important and relevant to the mains related or subject related oriented one. So, and some of the topics are very interesting also. The reason is already we left one discussion in the previous class. The last news was about the satellite failure. The ISRO recently has launched a satellite PSLV C62 and it failed. And one more fact that the PSLV C61 also failed. Okay, so around 4 or 5 articles are related to this one. Why it has been, and what government is going to take action, and how it is going to affect the commercial validity of ISRO when it is when it is lied to the other countries. Okay, இதெல்லாம் பத்தி ஒரு articles. Another one, the familiar news which are related to the Iran situation and how the USA government played a major role on Iran government and how it is going to affect India. This is another major issue, a continuous issue which we are going to discuss now. And the third one of the most important topic which used to be taken place in the news, that is related to the inflation, because every quarter year there is a topic related to inflation. So how the inflation situation when it comes to the last month, this one. Then another one, common articles, the articles is there that is related to the child education, investing amount on child education, how it is going to help. Then at last we will discuss about a case which is taken place today's newspaper, that is related to one of the corruption act. Okay, so these are the major issue we will discuss. Now let us see one by one. So wait, so which one is on the screen now? Retail inflation, this is what appearing, no? Correct?
Now the screen is not visible, sir.
But they're not visible. Wait a minute, one second, I will share. Now, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, if you are having note or no newspaper or a piece of paper, write some of the information related to inflation, because it keep on comes in upcoming newspaper. And inflation in very simple, those who are in the second batch, you might not aware about the core concept of inflation. So in short, I can say inflation means it is the change of prices. Okay, that means the overall increase in price or increase in the cost of living. Okay, that means that's a change of prices took place, whether it is the price is decreasing or increasing. Okay, overall it will, we will by measuring, and we will give the term that is inflation. In Tamil, if we can say the pana veekam, inflated, the value is inflated like this. And it's the most familiar word, the word of the inflation is the most familiar word in the word in the economics. And even many governments falling or rising or chance to be appear or reappear or disappear in the election, it is the one of the major factor. Inflation will be one of the major player in the election electoral role also. That is why when General Gerald Ford, I think so, he was the US president, he used to say even it was declared a public enemy number one. Okay, public enemy number one. The inflation is public enemy number one. You can note it down. Said by the US former president. Okay, because when people will think about the present government, if something goes very worst, oh, this government could not able to control the onion price, could not able to control the all commercial or consumer products. Okay, so that is right. So in simple, we can say it's the rate of increase in price over a given period of. Okay, if you want to give the simple definition for the inflation, means it's a rate of increase in price over a given period of time, especially during the monsoon period or in the month of April, May. The onion price will raise very higher level, even kg 200, 150. Okay, it had increased at level also. Even tomato, these things are okay. So this one. So the inflation we can divide it into two. Okay, one is the WPI, one is WPI, another one is CPI. Okay, so WPI means the wholesale producer level index. That means bulk sale, wholesale price index. Okay, that is called bulk sale. Okay, consumer means retail market. சில்லறை வணிகம்னு சொல்லுவோம்ல, அதாவது retail inflation we used to call consumer price index is also called as retail inflation, which means சில்லறை பணவீக்கம், சின்ன சின்ன பொருட்கள் வாங்குவோம்ல. Okay, where it is we can say retail market, retail outlet, so retail inflation. Okay, it refers to increase in the household price level of the selected basket of the goods and service over the period of time. Okay, and so now come to the news. So with this idea, come to the news. What news says? The retail inflation, that means consumer price in inflation at 3-month high around 1.33% in the December month, December 2025. Okay, increase why it has been increased? That is what the news is discussed. Okay, this is, however, the inflation was high. Come to this one directly. These things are data they have given. Okay, for example, in December, which is still significantly below the lower comfortable level of 2% set by the RBI. Actually, the RBI has set to level. Okay, the inflation should be at very low, means it should not go less than 2 comfort level. The lower comfort level might be 2%. Okay, and higher comfort level is 4%. So the inflation should be in this level. This is a reasonable level of inflation rate. It should not go beyond 4, should not go below 2%. Okay, so this is the RBI targets an inflation rate of 4% with a comfort band of 2% above and below that. This is what. But it has been 1.33. So what is the impact of this one? This is what the news says. However, the inflation was high at over 5% for the meat product, oil and fruit will continue to be exact upward pressure in the coming month. Inflation in the pawn to tobacco and intoxicants category remained in the unchanged around 2.9%, and the clothing and footwear category around 1.44. Okay, so core inflation this that means CPI excluding the food and beverage, fuel and light. Okay, these are all. And however, this was largely led by precious metals. Core CPI excluding the gold and silver remained unchanged. Okay, because of the people's bought lot more gold. Okay, and because of this one, already we discussed, it is connected with the dollar also. So your dollar is getting appreciated. Indirectly, we can say our Indian rupee is getting a lower value. Okay, so these are the, and why another one reason why it has been increased due to the personal care product, vegetables, fish, and pulses are spiked. So these are the reason it has been high up compared to last year, that 2025 December. Okay, this is the overall news. I think this is sufficient here. Main thing, it is needed because it is keep on changing every quarter of the year, 4 months in a year. They will government will come with the update. The RBI will release the data how what is the level of inflation. This is what the chart gives. Okay, the chart shows the retail price inflation in percentage measured by the consumer price index from December 2024 to December 2025 every quarter. Okay, the 2024, then April, then May, June, July, August, then September, October, November, December, every. Okay, so how it has been. So last year 2024 December, it was above 5% higher inflation and keep on reduce. Then again it is spiked little bit more. Okay, this is what. So again the government will come up with December, January, February, March, April. Again it will come April. Okay, so it will give the reason why it has been, how it is affected. But anyhow, this is not the dangerous level compared with the RBI set value. Okay, so I think this is sufficient. Then come to this one. This is what I discussed about the PSLV C62 rocket, and many around 3 to 4 news are related to this one. Actually, this rocket, the PSLV C62, we used other countries' satellite also. We got the commercial launch pad we used, but it is failed. The ISRO chairman, he explained that the third stage got failure. And that stage they could not get the satellite started spinning and could not able to push the satellite into the set orbit. Okay, and anyhow it got failed. But the question by the news agencies and other experts that already PSLV C61 also failed in the same third stage. Okay, third stage அதுவும் இதெல்லாம் ஃபெயில் ஆச்சு. அப்ப ஏற்கனவே ஒரு சேம் சீரீஸ்ல ஒரு ராக்கெட் ஃபெயில் ஆயிருக்கு. Again you launching the same PSLV payload that also failed in the third stage. Appa what step where the mistake is happened? This is what the news analyze, and it is important for us also. Okay, and this is what the exact reason it was given by the chairman. Okay, the performance of the vehicle up to the end of the third stage was expected. Close to the end of the third stage, we saw some disturbance in the vehicle roll rate, that is spin pandrathu. Subsequently, there is a deviation observed in the flight path. Okay, then the path change went, then it lost in the space itself. So now, so what we do, what do two PSLV mission failure in the row mean for ISRO? Well, this is what the news discussed in other point of view. Because in May 18, 2025, rare failure is PSC61. Okay, so May means within 6 months, again 7 months they launch another one mission that also failed. Okay, and apart PSLV got a good reputation by the other countries also. That is why they used to call workhorse due to the history of reliable launches. Okay, and this one is necessary to examine the C61 mission, whose primary payload was, that means Earth observation satellite. This is what the satellite which took place in the C61, and in C62 again we inserted Earth observation satellite Yan1. Okay, anyway, that also lost. And telemetry data showed a sudden unexpected drop in chamber pressure within the third stage motor around 203 seconds into the flight, because of PS3 stage solid fuel motor. And this is what the example given by that time. Okay, and so commercial protection, another possibility. This one last time they gave the statement. So PS3 motor is a technologically mature component that should not fail. This is another one solid statement given by the expert. Another it has failed. Okay, and if the failure was caused by simple negligence or manufacturing defect, admitting this publicly could damage the rocket reputation and increase the cost of insurance its launching. This is obvious. It is true. Okay, ஏன்னா நம்மளுடைய ப்ராடக்டே நம்ம வந்து இஃப் யூ ஆர் டிக்ளேரிங் தட் மை என்னுடைய என்னுடைய லான்ச் பேட் ஹேவிங் சச் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் டிஃபெக்ட்னு சொல்லி அட்மிட் ஆனோம்னா அப்படின்னா இட் வில் அஃபெக்ட் த ரெப்யூட்டேஷன், ராக்கெட்டோட ரெப்யூட்டேஷனே போயிடும். ஏன்னா commercially other countries also like to launch their satellite through our launch pad. Okay, இப்போ அது ஒரு question mark ஆயிரு. Then the cost of the insurance will increase, another one. Okay, and then the reason for failure just simply discussed why means they did not give technically much more details, simply said that PSLV motor suffered a leak, vented gas from the side of nozzles, it would create twisting force stronger enough to overpower the 4-stage stabilizer. Okay, these are all they have given explanation, but that is not a matter. The matter is these things. This article was there in the Sunday newspaper. What happened to ISRO PSLV C-62 mission, and how did Thailand Space Agency respond? Because JISTA that was the space agency of Thailand. So because Thailand one of the Thailand satellite also was there. Our failure analysis committee, this is one committee, FACU they used to call. The failure analysis committee standing bodies within the ISRO. Okay, this is one question raised by the news report. Okay, are they within the ISRO or outside of the ISRO? And has the failure analysis committee report of the PSLV C-61 mission been released in the public domain? Idu pannangala appdinu. Okay, simply they can raise the question on ISRO. Suppose in general certain data should not be public to protect its secret or the technical things which should be very reserved to the particular agency. Correct? You know, we cannot declare, we cannot open everything to the public domain. And news, what these people, what they say, PSLV C-61 mission failure ஆனதுக்கான complete document, complete reason publish பண்ணாங்களா? சரி, இப்ப publish பண்ணி public என்ன செய்ய முடியும்? Suppose as a student or a UPSC aspirants or any other common people or any officers, any common citizen, after reading the entire report, what suggestion they can give? It is not a matter of have they released the reason of failure of the PSLV C-61. That is not a matter. It is a matter of the ISRO committee or ISRO expert people or ISRO scientists. They should analyze much more, and they should have enough capacity to stop such kind of failure, or they can go for they can extend support from other international agencies. They can go for the discussion, or they can share the data, or they can approach them. So such kind of things are more effective, which will protect or which will stop, which will increase our credibility of our launch pad. This is the correct one. அதை விட்டுட்டு ஏன்னா இந்த நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல கேட்கிற கேள்வி எல்லாம் இப்படிதான் இருக்கும். C-61 ஃபெயில் ஆச்சு, C-62 ஃபெயில் ஆச்சு, என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தீங்க? ரிப்போர்ட் இது கமிட்டில யாரெல்லாம் இருந்தா, அனலைஸ் கமிட்டில உள்ளவங்க எல்லாம் இஸ்ரோ பீப்புளா இல்ல வெளியூர் யாரா இருந்தா உனக்கு என்ன? ஓகே, ஓவர் இட் இஸ். ஓகே, at the end point the failure should not be repeated, but it has been repeated. Okay, let it be repeated, no problem. So will it be repeated again? See, suppose C-63 launch pad, what the ISRO and what the government is going to do. This is what the correct way of constructive argument. Okay, anyway, let us see in this article this fellow how he has been written. So now the Sriharikota carrying the Earth observation satellite N1, but within a minute 15 along with the 15 co-passenger satellite, மொத்தம் 15 satellite along with our Earth observation satellite encountered an anomaly during the end of the third stage. Anomaly, now something happened unusual. Okay, abnormal thing happened. So what was the anomaly? An abnormal thing means the disturbance in the vehicle roll rates and followed by a deviation in the flight path. This is what the previous news we saw now. The explanation was given by the ISRO chairman. The rocket was spinning uncontrollably. Okay, because of these three things. And one more reason they give, the pressure, chamber pressure also reduced. This one. So following the incident, how Thailand space agencies responded, because their Earth observation satellite 2A was on board in the PSLV C-62. They said the malfunctioning late in the third stage caused an altitude control abnormally. Okay, altitude control abnormal, and the vehicle deviated from its trajectory, preventing the rocket from deploying the satellite it was carrying. They gave simple statement. This is what happened, and they said the rocket and satellites were expected to fall back and burn up over the southern Indian Ocean, but because of the abnormal condition, the failure it had to preceding the failure of PSLV C-61 mission on May. This one also. This is what they responded, and what had happened to the C-61? They have analyzed here. Okay, P-61 என்ன ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா அதேதான் again on the third stage not performing normally. C-62 அதேதான் third stage failure took place in the third stage. ISRO noted a drop in chamber pressure in the third stage motor case during the PS3 operation, after which the mission could not be accomplished. They debarred. Okay, so both C-62 and C-62 missions suffered decisive anomalies on PS3 stage after nominal early ascent. Okay, and these are the reason. See, roll rate disturbance, chamber pressure drop, and Anna. This is what I cannot personally agreed this one. What the paper says, but it did not publish a detailed list of corrective action it would have to take. Okay, and they are blaming on the government also that why the government did not publish that report. Okay, so that it is there. The fault observing committee is not a standing body of the expert within the ISRO, but instead an entity the ISRO chairman constitute in the event of the major incident. Okay, and its responsibility is to reconstruct the chain of events leading up to the failure using telemetry and subsystem data and in conversation with the people involved in that mission. It's correct, Tane? Okay, let them be whoever. Okay, one committee is framed by the ISRO chairman for what? That the committee had a responsibility and reconstruct the chains of events. Marabadi, you start from the project from the beginning, analyze the data, and conversation with the people who were involved in one, and it is expected to identify the causes and recommend corrective actions before the vehicle is cleared for a return to flight. Okay, this is what the procedure. Why the people are raising question over the ISRO means, say, is it a failure of ISRO or is it a failure of fault analyzing committee? Sorry, failure analyzing committee, or whatever the input or suggestion given by the FAC, the failure analysis committee, was it considered or not considered? It is question is not the credibility of the PSLV, it's the credibility of the committee. If committee gave correct suggestion, then it should be followed, and it should not be happen in the second mission, in the upcoming mission. Okay, that is why the paper analyzes both in the committee level and the government side, and the releasing of the data to the public in that direction also. So committee members include expert within the ISRO as well as relevant expert from the academia. And the ISRO chairman is a secretary to the Department of Space with a function directly under PMO. This is one of the solid statement which could be the question can be framed in the preliminary. Okay, this is another fact. Who is the chairman of the Department of Space means the ISRO chairman is the secretary of the Department of Space, and will it comes under the Ministry of Space or Prime Minister Office means it is directly comes under PMO. Okay, and in 2021, after that one more mission that failed, GSLV, F10 mission also failed. That time also the FAC constructed the failure analysis committee, and the failure analysis committee concluded that the liquid lower liquid hydrogen tank pressure at the time of cryogenic upper stage engine ignition caused by the leakage of vent and relief. They found the fault and they gave the suggestion. This one, the fuel booster turbo pump and leading to mission abort command. Okay, and in that case they gave the suggestion. And where is the PSLC FAC report? அதாவது இப்ப என்ன கேக்குறாங்கன்னா newspaper in which it takes into direction now where is the failure analysis committee report related to PSLV 61. So although the PSLV C61 false analysis committee submitted its report to the PMO hasn't cleared it for the public release yet. இதெல்லாம் ஒரு மேட்டரே கிடையாது. ஏன்னா doesn't mean பப்ளிக் வந்து பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் ஆபீஸ் ஒரு ரிப்போர்ட்டை ரிலீஸ் பண்ணனால என்ன வந்துரும் தெரியல. One thing happened. One thing we can say, suppose the government is transparent over the failure, and whoever reading that report, some expert from the citizen side, they can give some suggestion to the concerned person. These things will happen. Okay, these are the similar the small things which can be expected. Okay, but this is the one. This point we cannot highlight at a very strong level that PMO did not declare the C61 failure report. That is why PSLV C62 also failed means cannot be healthy argument. Okay, analyze konjam paathu eludunum. Suppose whenever a question related to this one, and they gave the report based on the committee. They said the mission is to slight manufacturing error. Okay, this one. And what happened to the satellite C62? Again, it is repeating again what it. And we had a Earth observation satellite in the surveillance satellite from DRDO that was also on board, and other co-passenger satellites from Thailand, UK, Nepal, France, Spain, Brazil, plus 7 satellites from Indian expertise. This is what the major problem now. Other countries have believed more on the PSLV launch pad. Now it is questioning, and all the countries are silent over our launch pad. Commercially, we will get drawback. The PSLV has failed 4 times so far, but PSLV C2 was the first time it failed while carrying customer satellite provided by the Indian and foreign entities. This is one of the solid important statement. This is not a first time. Already it has been failed. First time it has failed when it was carrying the foreign customer satellites. Okay, so that is why the mission has been facilitated by the ISRO's commercial arm, New Space India Limited, while the ISRO didn't say whether the mission has been failed after the anomaly in January 12. And what Thailand suggested that the rocket remaining stages and the payload would fall back down towards the earth and burned up. They were expecting, but it had not happened. Okay, this is what. And I think this is sufficient. So just we have compared with the PSLV C61 and C62 how the matter has been taken or analyzed from the newspaper level. Okay, but keep it in your mind and how we have to write in a positive way. Okay, simply we cannot blame ISRO, and we should not blame Prime Minister Office also. We can blame, but that should be the constructive way, not in the highly criticized manner. Now, this is the related to ongoing Iran situation. Okay, and some thing you might know about why it has happened, what happening in the Iran. Okay, and so here the genesis of ongoing crisis. Come read this statement. The genesis, the younger problem தொடங்கிச்சு அப்படின்னா the crisis increasingly dire eco-political conditions. It began December 28, 2025 when a group of Tehran merchant, அவங்க வந்து பஜாரின்னு சொல்லும், okay, Bazaris, staged a shutdown to protest the frequent devaluation of the market value of the rial, that is the national currency. Okay, அதாவது கரன்சில வந்து டிவேல்யூ பண்றாங்க. ஓகே. அதாவது எப்ப இது டிவால்யூவேஷன்னா என்ன அப்படின்னா, நம்ம வந்து பண்ணோம்ல ஒரே நாள் நைட்ல வந்து எல்லா கரன்சியும் வாட் எவர் த கரன்சி ஆர் ஹேவிங் தட் கரன்சி மஸ்ட் டஸ் நாட் ஹேவ் எனி டிமானிட்டைசேஷன் சொன்னோம்ல. அதே மாதிரி நம்மளுடைய கரன்சியை வந்து குறைச்சிக்கிறது. That is called devalue. Actually, this devalue used to be done by the China. Okay, but we never did. We had done, but not now. என்னன்னா இப்ப டாலருக்கு நிகரான இந்தியாவோட ரூபாய் வந்து இப்ப 100 ரூபாய் 89 ரூபாய் இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கியா. நானே என்ன சொல்றேன், கவர்மெண்ட் இட் செல்ஃப் வில் டிக்ளேர், the RBI itself will say that now the Indian currency value is 200 rupees per dollar, which means we have to think it in another direction. If we are devaluing our currency, then import will higher faster, but in export may increase. Okay, அப்போ export அதிகமாச்சுன்னா again the currency will get into balance, currency will start to strengthen. Okay, அந்த அர்த்தத்துல in that direction the current Iranian government they devalued their real. ஆனா அது ஒரு தப்பான முடிவு கொண்டு போய் எப்படின்னா the official exchange rate to a dollar was 42,000 in the market rate, nearly 35 times lower. Okay, அப்ப என்ன ஆகும், the பஜாரி குரூப், அதாவது the வியாபாரிகள் குரூப், அவங்க வியாபாரம் ஓவரா அடிவாகும். Okay, அப்ப அப்படி அடியாகும். So when their market is down in a very drastic manner, they started protest against the government. Okay, when they start protest against the government, then government will try to suppress them. அப்போ ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா two group form ஆகும். So now whenever a major two groups are fighting each other in one country, then always the third party will come into picture as the history shows. நான் சொல்லுவேன், in the historical record, whatever whenever there is a two major groups are fighting within the country, then the third fellow will enter into his part, that is US. Okay, this is what happened in Venezuela, this is what happened in Iraq, this is what happened in Syria. Okay, this is what happened in Afghanistan. Okay, still they are having they are taken care of Pakistan as their own child. Okay, so many. Okay, these things are happening very worst in the geopolitics done by the USA, but we cannot, that is why I said we cannot simply target and highly criticize on US government. At the same time, in the last class I said how we have to deal with these things in the international platform, that already we discussed. Okay, come to this point. Around 45% display in 2000 more made importing essential commodities such as rice, sugar, edible oil, and selling them in the real at officially controlled prices unprofitable. Profit. Subsequently, the disaffected section of the population such as unemployed youth, low paid employees, they also joined with this group. So that is got a major anti-government movement. Okay, and government start to suppress, and in that suppression around 2,000 people had died during unrest. Okay, and blaming the casualties on unnamed, they simply said they are the terrorists. Okay, and why it has happened, they are giving the explanation, they are giving the explanation since 1979. Okay, the foundation of Islamic Republic in 1979. The authorities have perfected fourth stage trip. Then 2009. Okay, the first phase. That means these are the various phases of what happening in Iran. The first phase, the police action took place, and second phase, social media lockdown. And just to remember, same thing happened in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka also. First phase, the people started agitation, showed protest against the government. So the police, the good cop and bad cop, like the police action was initiated, and after that in Bangladesh and the Sri Lanka also, again they stopped all the social media, they blocked all the social media. Okay, then because of that, again it strengthen the protection. Okay, and that third stage involved the weeks of attrition, seeding, conversion, and splitting into organization to holding pro-government, these things. And these three stages normally succeed in tapering of the protest. But during all these times, the Western media plays the role of an agent provocateur to the hilt. Okay, these things they have explained that these three things. Okay, and now provocateur it's someone who is deliberately go for the trouble. That is what provoke means. Provoke இது பண்றது, ஒருத்தனை provoke பண்றாங்க, தூண்டி விடுறது. So provocateur means the agent of provocateur means the someone who deliberately increasing the trouble. Okay, to the hilt means completely, the maximum extent. Okay, then இது வந்து ஒரு idiom, to the hilt, man, maximum level. அது யார் பண்றனா? The Western media. So this statement talks about the Western media act as a provocateur. Okay, deliberately they are stirring, and then the current melodrama. Melodrama means a strong, exciting things happen. The people's emotion. These are the now seems to be entering the third phase. Okay, over the next 4 months, the taken 10 million reals as a monthly handout will be directly transferred to all the citizens. Where it is? To mitigate inflation. Okay, some of the federal security personnel killed. These things happen, and the another group I said, the Bastaran Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps or IRGC and the army. These are the two groups fight each other now. Then oil industry also, national economy has stayed unaffected, and the government elite also not splintered. Moreover, no alternative leadership has emerged among the protests. அதாவது this thing in the அதாவது protest பண்ணாலும் அவங்கள ஒரு leader இல்ல, and there is no elite groups are always with the government side. அதாவது splinter means a group of small units. Okay, and and see, the outbreak has exposed new systematic vulnerability. The first, the Bazarist strike against the clergy-led regime. அதாவது Bazaris தானே affected a lot because of the devaluation of the currency. அவங்களுடைய economy dropped, so they went for the strike against the clergy-led regime. Clergy-ledனா அதாவது like the spiritual person will be the directly the government. Okay, அதாவது suppose in the old ancient period, the Pope will direct the kings. Pope என்ன சொல்றாரோ, அதாவது the leader of the Christian, அதான் வந்து the king will follow. So like that, the clergy is leading the regime. அதாவது oppose பண்றார். So in Iran modern history, the Bazaris have been an influential bellwether lobby. So bellwether means a leading sheep or their most important one. Okay, at the time of forcing Iran ruler to react, their withdrawal support doomed to the Shia in 1979. In the history, now directly come to the real one. The economic condition worsened mainly due to the US maximum pressure sanction. This is what the main reason. அதாவது யார் ஒரு யூஎஸ் வந்து யார் வந்து இது பண்ண நினைக்குதோ, immediately they will put sanction, economic sanction on the particular country. Okay, அதாவது பொருளாதார தடைன்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல. Okay, அதாவது this done on Russia. Okay, and this done on Venezuela at the beginning, and then on Iran. Okay, still the economic sanctions are there on Russia. They are not allowing India also not to buy oil from them. Okay, so and so maximum pressure on sanction. Further, they were also skewed by IRGC and the Boneyard's various functionaries. They are also okay. One side external pressure, one side internal organization, that revolutionary guards. These things. These are all made the Iran into the turmoil. And that's second reason. Another one. You can ask why US maximum pressure on economic sanction on Iran means the US government said that Iran is going to make nuclear weapon, so they should not. Okay, that is why this is what the reason they are given. The Iranian leadership steadfast pursuit of nuclear and missile program and support to regional proxies diverts scarce economic resources and triggers Western economic sanctions, causing social unrest. Okay, so because of this one, US did sanction over the Iran. அப்ப எக்கனாமிக் சாங்ஷன்னா யாரும் வந்து ஈரான் கூட எந்த எக்கனாமிக் ரிலேட்டட் ஆக்டிவிட்டியும் வைக்கக்கூடாது. திஸ் இஸ் வாட் டன் இன் தி South Korea. Okay, and the third one, the foreign abatement of the agitator had become the mainstream, with the US president and Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu openly encouraging them with a military threat to punish the Iranian regime and possibly replace it. So openly they are declaring, இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்கு பிடிக்கலன்னா simply go for the military operation and replace the current government. Successfully they did in Peninsula, and next they are aiming in Ireland, then now the Iran. Okay, even 2 days, 3 days or 4 days before, Trump again he gave warning to Iran that if you are punishing the people, those who are fighting against your government, then we will do military operation like that. Okay, and same thing happened in the Iraq. President Saddam Hussein attacked Iran to exploit the post-Islamic revolution chaos, only to see all the Iranian, that is previous history. Now come to here. Despite US pressure, China and the United Arab Emirates are Iran's top 2 trading partners, with respective bilateral commerce estimated at $40 billion and $30 billion last year, totaling over half of the entire Iranian foreign rule. And ida patti none of the news or giving any report. Okay, and how it is going to impact to India? Not much more, because whatever US says we used to follow, and the nation that Tehran is inconsequential for India is misplaced. First, any conflagration in Iran would affect the security and stability in the Gulf, where India has substantive stakes in terms of diaspora, oil supplies, and remittance. It would allow Pakistan to protect itself as a dubious charity. Third, after Iran, South Asia has the largest number of the Shias. With their number, India estimated around 25 million. Okay, so these are all how it is going to affect culturally and economically. Okay, this is what this paragraph discussed. I think this is sufficient. You just overlook what was the main problem and how the US made the role, and what are the impact is happening to India because of the problem with Iran. Okay, this is also related to Iran. The Trump latest tariff threat on Iran to have little impact on India. How? This is similar to India. What he says, India, if you are having any relationship with Iran, then I will further increase 20% tariff on my country doing business. Tariff on my country, on any country doing business with Iran. Official data. So, however, it could temporarily impact some sectors like rice, tea, fruits, and essential oil as per the data. Okay. அதாவது யாரையும் வாழ விடக்கூடாது, அவ்வளவுதான். எனக்கு சண்டைக்காரனா உனக்கும் சண்டைக்காரன். This is what the concept of America. This is what I said, that Indian government must raise the nature of the US government in the common platform that is in the United Nations, and at least India should raise the issue in a diplomatic way. So what is the what really the US wants? Okay, and that is what I mean. Diplomatically we have to get the data, or we have to get the input or suggestion from the US government what actually you want. And it's a trade. I am doing trade with other countries. It is up to us, between me and other countries. Why you are pressurizing me not to buy, not to having any deal with the other countries? You said don't buy oil from Russia. Yes, I did. And you said stop war with Pakistan. Yes, I did. And you said don't purchase anything, don't do any economic activity with Iran. That also I'm doing. So why should I? This is one major question to discuss. Okay, exam point of view and as a common citizen point of view. So So what are the other solutions? So how we can deal with the same the US government? Who is he to order us? You should not do the trade with them. And only one reason, only one thing in his hand, that we are doing more economic deals with the US. Okay, which means what message given to Indian government from the nature of the US means we should have, or we must have reduced the tariff level, trade level with the US. Instead of focusing more trade with the US, we must reduce, or we should divert our trade relationship with other countries. Okay, so for that, the government should take proper plan. We should not rely only on or maximum on one particular country that to dictate other countries in the world. This is the one solid discussion. Okay, if it is being so, then why should we listen? Okay, you put 100, why not 25% tariff, 250 or 2000% tariff increase? Doesn't matter for me, because neither I'm importing or not exporting from you. Okay, so for that we have to diversify our product or input output with the other countries. Like China, we can say China is not worrying about the US, and even more tariff increased on China product also. China is not bothered about the US, but it is affecting us, and we are not only affecting, we are agreeing the US order also. Okay, this is what one discussion much more needed. See, the effect, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay the tariff of 20% on any and all business being done with United States of America. Okay, and if all countries stopped trade with America, then that's gone. That is what the needed. But we can speak in the television, or we can write over the newspaper. ஆனா எக்ஸாம்ல எழுத முடியாது. எக்ஸாம்ல எழுதும்போது இந்த மாதிரி திங்ஸ் வரும்போது கொஞ்சம் டிப்ளமேட்டிக் ஸ்டைல்ல it is better to have. Okay, we must have the policy, we must have the trade relationship, like, and how much already we have seen many articles how much trade share we are having with the US and India, and in which product. Okay, and in the same product, why not we contribute to other countries? Like that we have to write. So for that, data is needed. That already we got discussed. So India has a history of stopping or reducing trade with Iran in response to US action. இது ஒரு shameful statement. இதை நம்ம பெருமையா சொல்ல முடியாது. India has a history of stopping. நமக்கு வரலாறு இருக்கு reducing trade. That I have to stop my own. Okay, in response to US sanction, India's trade with Iran declined significantly after 2019, following the sanction imposed on that country by US. Okay, and so according to the trade expert, if India were to stop trading with Iran, while some sector might feel short-term pain, Iran share is small enough that India will soon able to find alternatives. இது ஏன் அப்படி யூஎஸ் மாத்த கூடாது? This is what my question. USA share, see, USA share is small enough that India will soon be able to find alternative. Yeah, similar. இந்த மாதிரி இப்ப இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் if I change like this, then no need to bother about whatever the US says. Okay, so others say that most of what India export to Iran can be classified as humanitarian product, and so it remains to be seen whether they will be counted as doing business in the oil. So main point is this one. It's not a trade relation between the India and Iran, India and Russia, okay, and India and other country. It's a discussion point or trade relation between India and USA. Okay, how it should be in the future time. Then this is one of the editorial in today's newspaper. The corruption and prior sanction case of divided house. Actually, this why that happened means there is a section called section 17A how they mentioned here. The Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 இதுல செக்ஷன் 17A ஒன்னு இருக்கு. அதை சேலஞ்ச் பண்றாரு ஒரு பெட்டிஷனர் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்ல. என்ன சேலஞ்ச் பண்றாருன்னா இதோட கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷனல் வேலிடிட்டி. ஸோ அதை வந்து சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்ல 2 judges are giving in different opinions. So finally the case has been given to the Chief Justice, finally referred to the Chief Justice of India for constitution or a larger bench. Proper conclusion வரனால இந்த point discussion over the point as transferred to the Chief Justice and or constitution bench ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஓகே, அரசியலமைப்பு பிரிவு. ஸோ இது என்ன 17 section A என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா, this section stopped the agencies. Stop the agency என்னது? corruption related agencyல யாரு? CBI இருக்குது. Stop the agency from dealing corruption charges against government servant without center's permission. அதாவது சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்டோட பெர்மிஷன் இல்லாம எந்த கவர்மெண்ட் ஆபீஸ் சர்வெண்ட் மேலையும் கரப்ஷன் சார்ஜ் எடுக்க முடியாது. That is what it says. Okay, constant validity of the says it stop the agencies. Okay, அதுதான் வந்து இதோட கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷனல் வேலிடிட்டியை வந்து they are discussing at the court. The case that challenged the constitutionality of the section that effectively provided, இது என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா, effectively provided that no police officer would conduct any inquiry, எந்த போலீஸும் எந்த என்கொயரியும் பண்ண முடியாது, or investigation into any offense. ஓகே, எந்த ஒரு இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷனையும் பண்ண முடியாது, எந்த ஒரு அஃபென்ஸா தப்பா இருந்தாலும். ஓகே, to have been committed by the public servant, அப்புறம் government officials regarding any recommendation made or decision taken in the discharge of official function without prior sanction of the appropriate government. அதாவது prior sanction முன் அனுமதி இல்லாம, கவர்மெண்டோட அரசோட முன் அனுமதி இல்லாம எதுவும் எடுக்க முடியாது. அப்படின்னா இதுக்கு கரப்ஷன் சார்ஜே போடாம இருக்கலாமே. ஓகே, ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆர்டிகிள் நீங்களே புரிஞ்சுக்குவீங்க. அந்த செக்ஷனை தான் இதுக்கு கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷனல் வேலிடிட்டி வந்து சேலஞ்ச் பண்றா. இப்போ கவர்மெண்ட்ல ஒரு கவர்மெண்ட் அபிஷியல் ஊழல் பண்றாரு, கரப்டா இருக்கிறாரு, அந்த ஆபீசர் மேல ஒரு போலீஸோ இல்ல ஒரு ஏஜென்சியோ if they want to take action means they must get prior sanction, prior permission. ஓகே, முன் அனுமதி வேணும். அப்ப இப்ப முன் அனுமதி வேணும் அப்படின்னா, இப்ப நான் ஊழல் பண்ணிருக்கேன்னா என் மேல ஊழல் குற்றச்சாட்டு பண்ணணும், பதிவு பண்ணணும், எஃப்ஐஆர் பண்ணணும், இல்ல என் மேல என்ன விசாரிக்கணும், இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணணும்னா கவர்மெண்ட் பெர்மிஷன் கொடுக்கும். கவர்மெண்ட் மீன்ஸ் த பொலிட்டீஷியன்ஸ். ஓகே, இப்ப நான் என்ன சொல்லுவேன், அவன் பெர்மிஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க அப்படின்னா நான் சைன் நான் தான் போட்டேன். நான் ஓகே, ஐ டிட் கரப்ஷன், அது எனக்கு மேல கரப்ஷன். நான் if I get 20%, my boss got 50%. So you put behind him also bar along with me. Okay, so that instead of protecting themselves, okay, they won't allow to charge any corruption cases against the government servants, those who are in favor to them or those who are in their domain or in their government. Either they are validated. Okay, அது எப்படி கொண்டு போறாங்கன்னு பாரு. The case was mounted on the promise that corruption is an anathema to the rule of law. அனந்தமான ஒரு வெறுப்புக்குரிய கொள்கைக்கு எதிரான, எதுக்கு எதிரான, corruption is எதுக்கு எதிரானது, the rule of law, and vesting the government with the power to stall corruption investigation. At the same time, யார் corruption investigation ஸ்டாப் பண்றதுக்கு யார் பவர் இருக்குது? கவர்மெண்ட் ஏஜென்சிஸ்க்கு இருக்குது. ஓகே, so investigation to allow corruption to go uninvestigated and unchecked. ஒரு கரப்ஷன் சார்ஜ வந்து விசாரிக்க வேண்டாமங்கிற பவர் கவர்மெண்ட் கிட்ட இருந்தா, if the government is having power to decide over the corruption charges, அப்படின்னா என்ன ஆகும்? that corruption to go investigate, அதாவது இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷனே இல்லாம போகும், unchecked, செக் பண்ணாமே போயிடுவாங்க. Okay, this is what the section. Either they are arguing from the government side and from the petitioner side. So petitioner argued that the amended section was unconstitutional, being in the teeth up to earlier judgment of the court when a single directive, in here example we can say CBI director, okay, requiring prior sanction of the designated authority before initiating investigation against certain categories of public servant was issued, its legality was challenged. This is what he is raising. Okay, and 1998 the Supreme Court quashed a single directive and held that the final opinion whether to investigate or not has to be made by the CBI and not by anyone else. Appo the single directive sollama the final opinion yarukano onnu adu investigate pannanuma vendamgiradu made by the CBI but not by anyone else nu solludu. Okay, this is a good one. ஏன்னா இங்க வந்து government opinion வரல as per the Supreme Court in the case Vineet Narayan versus Union of India. The executive on its own cannot foreclose inquiry into any allegation of the corruption as that would be entering the domain. The judgment came in the backdrop of the one committee, Vogara committee. They gave the submitted the report related to criminal nexus between the highly placed politicians. We can say ministers, MP or MLAs in the ministry, high-ranking bureaucrats, and the criminal elements. மூணு பேருக்குள்ள ஒரு தவறான ஒரு கூட்டம் அமையும். The court held that equality before law under Article 14 and the rule of law itself would only be preserved if investigative agencies are insulated from political, executive, and bureaucratic influence. இது தனியா அப்படியே எழுதி வச்சுக்கோ. அதாவது கோர்ட் என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா the Article 14 equality before law, equal protection of law சொல்லும் Article 14 படி. Okay, and rule of law could be preserved. இது எப்படி Article 14 பாதுகாக்கணும் அப்படின்னா the investigation agencies இருக்குல்ல CBI, they are insulated. அதாவது they should be independent from political, executive, bureaucratic influence. Okay, அரசியல்வாதி இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் இருக்கக்கூடாது. அதர் எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ்ஸ் லைக் அதர் பொலிட்டிக்கல் எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ் அவங்கள தான் இருக்கக்கூடாது. bureaucratic interference இருக்கக்கூடாது. அப்ப இண்டிபெண்டன்டா they have to take the decision. Okay, and to bypass the judgment in Vineet Narayan, the central government enacted the Central Vigilance Committee Act 2003. Okay, அப்போ உடனே கவர்மெண்ட் என்ன சொல்லுது 2003ல they are enacting on Central Vigilance Commission Act. அதுல they are introducing section A. Okay, A2 இதுல the Delhi Police Establishment Act effectively reintroducing the single directive. இந்த சிங்கிள் டைரக்டிவ் தான் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் ஸ்ட்ரைக் அவுட் பண்ணுது. கவர்மெண்ட் எவ்வளவு அழகா பிளே பண்ணுதுன்னு பாரு. ஓகே, எது நல்ல விஷயமோ அதை இவங்களால இருக்கவே முடியாது. So they are taking another route. So they are creating the another act. They are passing another act. அந்த ஆக்ட் கீழே டெல்லி ஸ்பெஷல் போலீஸ் எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்மென்ட் ஆக்ட் ஒன்று கொண்டு வந்து அதுல 6A செக்ஷன் 6A கொண்டு வந்து அந்த செக்ஷன் 6Aல எதை வந்து சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் வேண்டாம்னு சொல்லிச்சோ பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லி அதை இங்க கொண்டு வராங்க. அதனால கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் பெஞ்ச் Subramanian Swamy versus Director CBI அவங்க declared section 6A of the Delhi Special Police Enactment Act Act to be unconstitutional on the ground that classification of officer based on the status in the government service for the purpose of investigation. அப்ப இவங்க வந்து அந்த மறுபடியும் அந்த 6A வந்து ஸ்ட்ரைக் அவுட் பண்ணுங்க. At the same time it also violated Article 14. ஏன்னா சட்டத்தின் முன் அனைவர் சமம்ங்கிறது இந்த பாயிண்ட்டுக்கு ஒத்து வரல. It also held that such power to interdict. Okay, interdict means prevent. Okay, so the power to prevent corruption investigation would encourage the criminal bureaucratic politician nexus. ஏன்னா அதாவது கரப்ஷன் இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷனை தடை பண்ணா அது எதை என்கரேஜ் பண்ணும்? கிரிமினல் bureaucrat politician nexus. இவங்க மூணு உள்ள கூட்டம் வந்து ஸ்ட்ரென்தன் பண்ணும். அதான் சொல்லுவது. Okay, and again the Supreme Court says in the Vineet Narayan case, however high you may be, the law is above you. Okay, so section 6A offend this signature tune effectively, and okay, adella vetru. So finally they did not come to a conclusion. So come fast, much more articles are there. So finally the section 17 to be contrary to the objective of the act and unconstitutional as the requirement of prior sanction is solluvaanga. Okay, so finally so you read wherever I have marked. Okay, leaving the power of concern with the government would render provision unconstitutional, and the grant or refusal approval would rest not with the government but with an independent agency before the decision taken by the government. So another positive point. the striking down of the section would lead to policy paralysis, as he left that the honest public servants needed to be insulted. This is one of the negative effect of striking that one. நல்ல ஆபீசர் மேல ஒரு ஃபால்ஸ் இது போடலாம். Okay, and the police can do the investigation. Okay, so at the same time the Lokpal also there, so that will taken care of the, if it is happened, the Lokpal deal with such kind of thing. So finally they did not both, so proper conclusion is not there. So that is why the matter goes to the Supreme Court, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Okay, you read this article so once you will understand. Then we'll move to the some of the other articles. We can go in some of the faster way. Is it visible, the earlier investment in children as the key to India's future?
Yes, sir.
It's a very common one. என்ன சொல்லுது அப்படின்னா, you have to investment more on the children on the early education, for the early education. அப்படிலாம் பண்ணீங்கன்னா என்னன்னு, அதுல one of the most important is this one, just for your knowledge. Okay, an investment in early child is not welfare in intervention, but the strategic economic investment. எதுல அப்படின்னா, the first 100 days of life and up to the 2000 days. Okay, the first 300, that's overall the first 300 days shape the brain architecture, physical health, cognitive ability, emotional regulation, and social skill. You will think that, okay, our parents, will they do this one or not? We do not know. But anyway, in future generation, you have to take your child up to 3000 days. Why? Means these 3000 days, with 3000 days means around 3-4 years. Correct? 365. Yeah. Around 4-5 years. Okay, the early capabilities developed during this period determine child capacity to learn, adapt, contribute productivity to the society as an adult. இதை தான் ஃபுல்லா எழுதிருப்பாங்க. Just read. அதுல என்னென்னலாம் immediate we have to taken care of the children in various level that discussed here. The first, second, fourth, where I have mentioned somewhere. Listen, wait. The first, India needs structural premarital and preconception counseling for young adult and couples, focusing on nutrition, mental health, lifestyle choices. This is most important. Many of the young adults do not bother about these things. Second, parent must be empowered with knowledge about early stimulation and responsive care. This one, talking, reading, singing, playing, this thing. Third one, parents and families should be trained in basic growth monitoring and age appropriate development milestone through periodic symbol sessions. Fourth, India must invest more in quality care and the learning system for children aged 2 to 5. Okay, but India is not investing. Indian parents are investing more in the private schools. Then fifth, education. Nutrition and health system must break out all the skills of children and need learning, not just schooling. Nutrition for life, not just feeding and well-being, not ritualistic checks up. Schools as the most widely accepted institutional platform. Then sixth, preconception health and the first 3000 days must become part of the nationwide social conservation. This one. Finally, schools should engage a parent as a partners. Why? சூப்பரா நடைமுறையில ஒத்து வராது, பட் எல்லா பாயிண்டையும் ஷார்ட்டா போட்டு வச்சுக்கோ. Okay, so whenever it comes related to society and children or education, you should put up these points. While non-NGOs, non-profit organization, philanthropic institution and corporate social responsibility, CSR initiative must help build a supportive ecosystem for the children, and need for a citizen-led movement. Okay, so read this article today itself. It's very easier to one. Then next one, this also again, higher education. This is the IIT director, written by IIT director Professor Kamakodi. He has highlighted some of the points about national education policy. National education policy. Okay, அதோட impact wherever I mentioned the first point and second point, third one. Okay, the first one, it can enable youth empowerment at the scale. Second point, it can accelerate the adaptation of the global best practice while remaining the rooted Indian priorities. International credibility is not achieved by copying foreign model, but at the same time, we meet global benchmark outcome, ethics, research culture. To achieve research culture, ethics and research culture, the new economic policy helped. Third, it can modernize governance through transparency and minimalistic responsive regulation. And he is also highlighting one of the other one. There is one bill. Already we discussed about this bill. The Vikshit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan bill. All three bodies come into one entity. Okay, so that is what he is discussing. And third, it will replace the single window system, can reduce delays, encourage integrity, and improve predictability, public disclosure, the autonomy for well-performing institutions of eminence, and it will focus smarter regulation, focused on outcomes, learner welfare, and national priorities, these things. Okay, and so this is what he discussed. And already we have discussed about this bill. What now? The Vikshit Bharat Shiksha Abhiyan Bill 2025. Then again, this is similar news what we discussed about PSLV C61 and C62. Then this one is related to the film which is not getting clearance by the censor board. Okay, and the Jananayagan film. So for that, the release have again highlighted the need for procedural reform in India's certification process to allow creative expression to flourish within the constitutional limit rather than being subject to the ad hoc restriction. Okay, ad hoc restriction. That ad hoc temporary restrict பண்ணாம, they have the board should be, the process should be within the constitution limit la இருக்கணும். ஆனா இல்ல, because of that reason they are playing with this playing by the name of these movies. And the Central Board of Film Certification is a rushed manner to meet its release date, raises concern about the possible suppression of historical narratives. See how they are written. Okay, possible suppression. And censor board mandated to check content against issues such as integrity of the state and public order according to the Cinematograph Act. And other but changes to removal of dialogue and scenes that pertain to a pivotal chapter in Tamil Nadu political and India's history of federalism. So they are focusing more on this one only. Suggest possible over censorship. Freedom of expression makes it imperative that such cuts must be reasoned and done in a manner that ensure the filmmakers have adequate time to negotiate them then under dues. After all, the certification framework is designed to safeguard, not for strive creativity. Okay, அதாவது highly they have criticized the decision taken by the censor board. Okay, இதுலயே தெரிஞ்சிரு, censor board, they have to protect the freedom of expression and they have to follow the whatever the procedure they are following, that is to design for safeguard but not for the strife and creativity. This one. And another one, despite the committee examining initial recommendation of the UA 16+ certificate, the chairman decision to refer the film to revising the committee just days before the scheduled release. Okay, these are all the questions. This is a question mark. Why one day before he is ordering to revise the committee to take the fresh overlook. Okay, and And the release has been delayed after Madras High Court decision bench stayed a single judge order to issue the certificate, holding that urgency of release date cannot be act as pressure to deny the board an opportunity file is counter of it. So actually the entire things is somewhat political, and one more word he said here, no, political and federal thing not need. They are not protecting the freedom of expression, and they are not act within the constitutional limit. That's all. Okay, we cannot go beyond this one. And instead of criticizing, we have to use this word. The Central Board of Censor Film Certification must act within the constitutional limit, must protect the freedom of expression, and must check the dialogues and these things, which should not be the designed to be safeguard, not for strife and creativity. And then they should not, the chairman decision should not be an impossible way of suppressing the film producer. Okay, such kind of positive way we have to write. I think this is sufficient today. Okay, okay, you read all the articles whatever we have discussed today once, otherwise marandru. Okay, you will not in touch with. And tomorrow also we are having class. I will update you. And this week the offline classes will not be there due to the project day. So offline class we are scheduled in the Friday and Saturday. Okay, but that we can start from the next week. Okay, subject already I mentioned in the group. Okay, and the subject I plan to start from the geography for the batch 2. So those who are available from the batch 1, they can also join, because geography you can once again you can go through with the new class. I think today we will conclude. So shall we wind up then? Okay, thank you. But read once all the news.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.